Hey everyone, so today I have some really interesting information to talk about the digital twin and understanding how the simulation of putting all of our consciousness into the metaverse or into this AI hive mind and the plan in which they want to do this. And by putting the frog in lukewarm water, which is humanity, and not allowing them to really realize that while they're in this pot, it's boiling and boiling and it's killing you slowly. It's trapping you, it's putting you somewhere. Now, I know that some of my context lately sounds fearful. It sounds daunting, but you need to understand the truth in order for you to not be part of the timeline. So, for you who are watching me and you feel like this is scary, just know that you're feeding the beast system every time you wake up leading yourself in fear. If every day you wake up in fear and scarcity and worry and wonder about, oh my God, all this horrible stuff because you're plugged into the media, you're feeding into the beast system, which literally just keeps it going and keeps it encompassing more and more of our energy. So why don't we think about what we're thinking about and just understand something and then decide not to be a part of it. So this is what today's about. So for all of you who get downloads and information similar to this and you're out there speaking about it, kudos to you. But I'll tell you, when I get downloads and I get pictures and images, this is direct cognition. There's an inner knowing that I know this is true. There's parts of me that remember this. But then I have my human that's saying, oh my goodness, like this is so big. And then interesting, I think the quantum field reads my consciousness of a little bit of doubt. Like, how will I explain this to humanity? And then it just brings in something so beautiful. So I haven't done this in a while, but something came across my awareness yesterday and never seen this video before. And I'm going to put it on here for you to watch because this is what triggered me to bring in more about the digital twin and the hive mind, which is going to be the metaverse. It's the simulation where all of our consciousness is going to be stored. And this is why those data centers are needed to be able to hold every single human's consciousness in this one arena. So I'm going to show you the video now. It's about 4 minutes long. I'll have to break it up a couple times and then I'm going to speak more into it.
Well, let me tell you about a piece of research that just came about very recently. So in October 2024, there was a Nature article published on by a consortium called Flywire. Okay, these are like 20 universities, some big guys, Princeton, Berkeley. There are some British ones, Cambridge, Oxford, all these guys are there, okay? A big consortium. Their objective was to map the entire brain of a fruit fly.
I know of this, yes.
So what they did, they took the brain of the fruit fly, they put it into some kind of resin, and then they sliced it up in 7,000 slices, 40 nanometer thick each, okay, indexed the slices, and then it was a 10-year project, massive project, 10-year project, yeah? Each slice of the brain imaged under a transmission electron microscope and mapped every single neuron and every single synaptic connection in the slice. And then they stitched them up together using AI and reconstructed, what you see there is the Flywire project, reconstructed the entire brain of the fruit fly, okay? This is called the connectome. It has over 130,000 neurons, 50 million synaptic connections. So it's a massive undertaking to actually do all this. 10 years, okay? Big consortium, 10 years they worked, published in Nature. They took this brain connectome and put it into a brain emulation, they call it, like a digital construct to actually simulate it. So that was the study. Now enter Eon Systems, March 2026. That's why I said it's very new. Mm-hmm. Eon Systems is a San Francisco-based company. These guys, they took the fly, fruit fly, mm-hmm. They used CT micrographs, X-ray micrographs, okay, and they scanned the fly and they created a digital version of it, okay, with 87 joints and looking exactly like the real one, okay, but in a digital version, and put it into a physics engine. It's the same physics engine used by DeepMind and OpenAI to train for robotics research and all this stuff, okay. In that simulation construct, okay, they simulate gravity, wind, all the processes like in a real world, sort of like as realistic as possible. And they put the fly in there, a digital fly. And then they took that brain emulation from Flywire project and then loaded into the digital fly.
Look up.
And when they did that, what you see here is the fly waking up in the simulation and behaving like a real fly, walking about, grooming, looking for food, responding to... They created virtual odors, they created virtual foods, all sorts of things, and the fly started to behave just like a real fly, eating food, searching for food, responding to any danger or anything. And they could map, they could look at the brain in the real time, like how the brain was responding, they could map because that brain emulation. But the point is that this is the insane thing. There is no training. There is no code line. There is no machine learning. There is no AI. There is no data training. There is nothing. They just loaded the brain structure into a simulated fly and they started to behave like a real one. He woke up into a digital construct, and in this very moment, there is a fly looking for food into a digital program, digital construct, where he was not born into, okay? And nobody programmed it to do this.
It just did it.
It just shows that the neuromorphology, the way the neurons and the synapses and all this, the way they are wired, is not just the hardware of the computer, the biological computer, it's also the software. It's everything in it. And that was enough to put it inside the digital fly, and it behaved just like a real one. So it's the first time ever in the history that we had biological life being simulated into a digital construct. Now, the EON systems, they try to do this for a mouse. Now, from 139,000 neurons or something, you're looking at 70 million, I think. Human brain, 90 billion, roughly, neurons, okay? It's just a scaling problem because the methodology is the same. If they can do it, it's a proof of concept at that scale,
Yeah.
okay? They can scale it up. You say you can never simulate biological life. You can never. Yes, you can. And that's the proof. And this is March 2026. Nature articles and real science happening as we speak.
So there's a lot to unpack if you really watch that 4 minutes of that physicist talking or being interviewed there. But what I found so incredible is that it just gives the science and a deeper understanding and proof to humans who still need that for them to make decisions, for them to become more aware, for them not to maybe be in fear, but to understand the game. Because here's the thing, the only reason why humans haven't won that so far, or only a few have, is because they've understood the game. They're no longer participating in it. And so this is what I believe part of my purpose is for me bringing this authentic truth to you, navigating it and articulating it in a very easy way to understand. But the human has to be okay with hearing things they might not want to hear. Because it's not me, it's not the messenger, it's the way this timeline has been skewed. It's the way it's been manipulated. Yes, it's very crooked, it's inverted, and it's really quite satanic. But you don't want to focus on the negative when you understand the game, because that's how you stay in it. You want to understand how the game's being played, so then you can exit it. So then you can live in the prime reality, the real reality, before you get augmented into a digital reality where you won't be able to know the difference. So by understanding that this company in 2026, March of 2026, has accomplished what this scientist or this physicist just said, this is 2026. We all know the Agenda 2030 that they're trying to really push into their timeline. So we know for hundreds of years that the human mind and the human genome has always been mapped. It's been under the microscope for that long, trying to understand how they can figure out their end game. And so doing this with a fruit fly and being able to put it into a reality, a digital reality where it's a digital fly, but it just gets its consciousness, it gets its brain put into it, and it starts to act and wake up in this simulation, and it doesn't even know it's there. It's acting like a real fly, but yet it is a digital copy of it. Now, you may have not seen my videos before, but I talked about the digital twin. This is what social media was used for. This is what it's being used for. It's a weapon to be able to take all of your data, your pictures, your life, the way you speak, what you look like, and all put it into your digital reality under your identity as the digital twin. So that when your mind, your consciousness is transferred into the digital twin, into the metaverse, the digital reality where they trap you, this is going to be so seamless unless you're aware of what's going on. Because everything you know here in prime reality, they're collecting stuff. They're listening to your voice. They're able to mimic your kid's voice. They're making the simulation so real that if you don't wake up before your consciousness is transferred into it, it'll just seem like another day. So at the end of that video, he literally said, most of us think you could never simulate biological life. How can you interface biology with computers, with digital reality? Well, isn't that what they're trying to do with the transhuman movement? Isn't that what they're trying to get every one of us to do? Volunteer and put chips all in your bodies while they're putting them in there involuntarily so that you can be the brain interface to AI. That's what they want you to do. They want your physical body, your brain, to be interfaced with computers. We know this, it's nothing new, but you need to understand why they want to do that, because that's how they transfer you from prime reality, the one that God created you in, and they put you into their artificial timeline, their digital reality, where everything is going to mimically look just like your reality now. This is why they're copying everything. I said yesterday in my reels, and I'll say it again, everything that they create are copies of God's original creation. So you as a digital twin, it's not real, you're artificial, but you're going to believe and think that you are. Just like he said, this fly woke up in the simulation and it acted just like a fly would. It's a digital fly, right? It was with no essence. And then they put and plugged the brain into the fly, and all of a sudden the fly, without any, he said, without any kind of training, without any code, the fly started to act exactly like a fly. So this is what they've been practicing. This is what they've been doing and dissecting humans forever. So mapping the human genome and mapping the human mind was for this simulation. And they've got it down. They've had it down for a long time. So being able to transfer you into a simulation is going to be very easy if you stay asleep. If you continue to live in fear, you can't think. So you're just going to lockstep right into the simulation, believing everything that you're being told. And this is where they promise eternal life. Because of course you can be eternal if you're a digital being. So there's another minute clip I want to just drop here for you. But what I love at the end of this, because he talks about how they can upload a human into a digital reality. This is not false or woo-woo. This is physics. And so at the end of this clip, though, I love that he talks about one thing that makes it different than the fly is the consciousness that all humans have. I'm going to go deeper and talk about the divinity and the soul aspect that every human has. This is the one thing that will keep you from entering the simulation if you start to go back home, if you start to go within, and you start to realize that you are consciousness, units of consciousness of God, that you are not a victim, that you are not just a physical body, you're a multi-dimensional personality, and you live on multiple dimensions. So to be trapped in a physical body, having your brain interfaced with AI is how they trap the soul from ascending. This is what I shared yesterday. So the end goal is to keep and collect. This is why those data centers are going up everywhere. Because once all of us are simulated, or they hope, are simulated into this timeline, they need huge data centers to be able to process all of our consciousness, because that's what they're going to live off of. And it won't matter what the environment looks like. Like I said, it doesn't matter when people are saying the water is going to run dry here on Earth because of these data centers. It won't matter because Earth's environment will be uninhabitable for an organic human being. So it's either transhuman as your option or ascension. That's it.
Let's assume, hypothetically, that these guys, Eon Systems, and they map a human brain entirely. And they load it into a simulation like this. What exactly wakes up in there? What is that?
Well,
Will it have feelings like us? Emotions? Will it wonder about what am I? What is this universe? Who created me? It will look for food. You will suffer. Will it have human rights? Will it? Do you understand? It's that entity there, it could be very well just like us.
well, hold on.
And that shows that we could also be ourselves into something like that. Can't tell you what that fly thinks or does. All I can tell you is that it behaves like a real one, like a regular fly, naturalistic movements. Nobody showed that fly how to walk. The complex movement, the legs, you saw how it looks. Yeah?
You figured it out.
Yeah, it just did.
Yeah.
And without any programming, without any machine learning, without anything. All those behavioral animalistic things that they appear to be built into the brain structure, and just uploading that into the digital form, it was enough to start behaving like a real fly. But I think we have that as well, but I think there is something else that maybe you cannot map or program. There is something else, the consciousness and yeah.
And I just wanted to bring one thing to your attention for any of you who've ever played, virtual reality games. I mean, I've never played virtual reality games, but I have seen people on Insta play it. And it's actually quite funny to see how once they're immersed into the game and the goggles are on, it doesn't take very long because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real, true prime reality and an artificial one. Keep that in mind when I said that. So you get into the game and eventually I've seen people break their TVs. I've seen people fall over couches. I've seen them like smack down things out of their kitchen, like they're breaking lamps. They are no longer aware of where they are. They believe they're in the simulation. And so now they're acting from that because you have to understand the power of your subconscious mind. This is why imagination, which they've tried to deter you from, is so powerful in creating your own reality because your subconscious mind will create whatever it believes. So if you are in a simulation and you believe you're in a simulation, that will be your reality. So you don't want to be caught up in something where you can't tell the difference between what is real and what isn't, or you will be part of the frog in the boiling water, and one moment you will be in a simulation and your body will be stuck there. So the eternal life promise is that this is what they're trying to tell all of you. They're touting eternal life for all human beings. You'll be able to see, you'll be able to have no more handicaps, you'll be able to walk again. Now, I'm not saying that that isn't something that's beautiful, but it's not beautiful when you're actually not real, that your consciousness is in a simulation and the body is a digital copy of you, and you believe because you're walking around in this simulation that you are actually real, and you're not. This is the joke. This is the trick that they're trying to trick you into eternal life and fixing your body so that you can have immortality, you can walk again, you can see again. They're tricking you by using your emotions, by trying to tell you that they will give you all of these things back, but you get all of them back as a digital game, as a digital twin, which is not real. Your body is not real. Your mind is in there. And if that's what you desire, it's always your free will choice.